Now, if you know that, Alex, because this is the knowledge that's passed along the top levels, the highest levels of the secret society network, and systematically kept out of the public arena, it means that you know that if you can manipulate the way people read reality, read information, you can get them to create a reality that suits your agenda. For instance, one of the things I did when I was researching some of this is I went to hypnotist stage shows to watch them at work. And you get people, they're stooges on the stage, and the hypnotist implants a belief into their brain, a program, in other words. Say he gives them a potato, and he tells them, implants the belief they're eating an apple. What they do is they take a bite of the potato, which they should, shy away from, but to them it tastes like an apple. Why? Because when the electrical signal carrying the information of the potato hits the brain, because of the implanted program, it doesn't read that. It reads the information as if it's an apple, and so that's what the person tastes. Now, if you take that basic thing, which they can do so simply, these hypnotists, when they're working with people who are open to it, across the swathe of society, the 24/7 media, the education system, what passes for it, and all these sources of information, what they're doing is they're programming a sense of reality. People like Wolf Blitzer and all these people, they're hypnotists. They don't know they are. 90% of them don't. But they are implanting a belief system. They're implanting a program. And so people who accept that program then read reality to suit the program, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is a major level of how people are programmed to see the world in a way the system desires, and crucially see themselves in the way the system desires. I'm just Joe Public, little me, I've got no power. Like hell we have no power.
David, I want to add a point and get your response to it. To simplify some of what you're saying, we are not the computer. We're using the computer to access this larger system that manifests, just like our optic nerve manifests the three-dimensional world, or television, or our ears manifest what people are listening to now. It takes those sounds and decodes them. But instead, the television, the culture, the media, it is trying to boil it down to where we're only reactive, only receiving, and not directing our subconscious mind or our soul, our spirit in any way. We're becoming biological androids that are simply directed. Now, let me add something to that. As you point out, the elite know that archetypal symbols, different terms, different ideas, different colors, they're using all these different integrated systems to control us and to manipulate us, and they never want us thinking outside the box and seeing that larger paradigm, because the minute you realize there's something much larger outside, then their defeat is imminent once that simple step can be made. But to expand on that, you notice how the social engineers, the eugenicists, the social Darwinists always say, we're a disease, we're an animal, we're worthless, we have no soul, we can't direct ourselves, we have no destiny, we don't have any power, we simply react. And that is their religion. And they always tell you every child is not special, humanity is not special, but animals are. The elite will make decisions based on what's good for the animals on the earth. They know that we're an incredibly powerful species. They know we have an amazing destiny. And the establishment want to control that destiny for themselves. They, in their own writings that they don't really widely publicize, but that are available publicly, as you know, admit that we are this incredible species and this incredible group of builders meant to have a destiny that we can't even imagine. And so they're trying to get a corner on reality and future development, trying to shut that down. And so that's why they're always telling us that we don't have any power and that we aren't effective and that we don't have some greater goal, and why we should obsess on our neighbors and on fashion and on what we look like and on our weight, when, as you've said, all this body is a earth suit that we are limitedly experiencing one tiny channel of the spectrum. Go ahead.
It is a tiny channel too, Alex. I mean, of the mass matter that mainstream science says exists in this universe, and far more does than they understand, I would suggest, that the electromagnetic spectrum is something like 0.005% of what exists in this reality, and visible light, which is the only frequency range that we can decode through the five senses through sight, is a fraction of the 0.005%. We're on a tiny holographic television station, and if we think that that's all we are, then of course we're being pulled into a very, very narrow band of a sense of possibility, sense of potential. Once you break out of that and you realize that within that band we are having an experience, but it's not who we are, then you start to open yourself to much greater levels of awareness. Not because you're special or you have to sit cross-legged on a mountain or meditate in a cave for 30 years. You just have to move your point of self-identity, your point of observation of self in the world, from I am Charlie Jones to I am infinite consciousness having an experience as Charlie Jones. And when people do that, it's happened to me, the shift that takes place, instead of
it's quantum. Stay there. Got a break. Okay. David Icke. Key information.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
In the time we have left, 35 minutes roughly with David Icke, I want to spend a little bit more time on the nature of reality, let him finish that point, and then I want to get into some of the latest things developing inside the New World Order, inside this false paradigm they have created. Going back to David Icke, you were trying to make a point about the awakening, someone you talked to when you were in New Mexico.
Yeah, it's funny how life goes. When I first began to consciously wake up myself about 20 years ago, I went through a real challenging time because, the top of my head opened and information came in that was so vast and so, amazing, and the volume of it, that basically I had a period of about 3 months when it was like you press too many keys on a computer and the computer freezes and goes, I can't filter this, I can't compute this, I'm freezing. And after that 3 months happened, everything morphed back into, I was the guy I was before, but I saw the world completely differently. And one of the things that I picked up at that time was that there was a cycle coming of a vibrational change that was going to wake people up from this amnesia. And there seemed no chance of it at the time. There's no sign of it. And the first book I ever wrote after I had my awakening experience, I actually called Truth Vibrations, because after this vibrational change that was going to bring all that had been hidden to the surface so people could see it, and where's the evidence? But 20 years later, look at it. And I am seeing, as I travel around the world, this incredible awakening that's going on. I met a lovely guy in Santa Fe at the talk yesterday who'd come from Texas, and he said to me, 3 months ago, I was totally asleep. And 3 months later, he's coming to an event. He's flying from Texas to Santa Fe to this event. And people are waking up so fast. And it's this awakening that is the real point, I would suggest, of what's going on in terms of all this New World Order. It's absolutely no accident that they are throwing everything at us, and they're preparing to throw everything they can in the next few years at us. At the time this awakening's taken place, I picked up a long time ago, years ago, that the inner core of this New World Order absolutely knew that this awakening was coming, and this vibrational cycle was coming that was going to awaken people to their true nature. And they're battling to keep the lid on it. And what's fantastic, Alex, is as a wonderful line in the sand that we could stand together on, the number of people who are seeing this swine flu vaccine for what it is. You imagine, mate, 10 years ago, if they'd have played this, people had just lined up, not even thought about it. Look at the change that's taking place. And it's happening so fast, it's an exponential curve. And what we're looking at is the irresistible force, which is this awakening. It's coming face to face with the immovable object, the conspiracy, which thinks it's immovable, but isn't. Wishful thinking, Mr. Rothschild and co. And they are going to push forward with this for a while. And it's going to seem as if it's going the wrong way and all is lost. But by 2016, this whole control system's coming down as we awaken and this vibrational change takes place, that construct is going to be unpicked. It cannot survive this. It cannot. And what we need to do, I strongly suggest, is slow the progress down of this conspiracy as much as we can, so that it's not as extreme by the time it goes down as it will be if we do nothing. We need to slow it down, its progress, through non-cooperation. It only exists because we cooperate with it. There are a handful of people, comparatively, at the core of this who know in full knowledge what's happening, why, and what it's for. You know, we've got the numbers. We stop cooperating with our own enslavement, and we'll slow this down very, very fast, as we're showing with the swine flu vaccination.